Okay, John. Right, so I think we wanted to talk about manning. What are your thoughts about manning industry at the moment?
Well, I think the main issue that's facing owners at the moment is, after the credit crunch, we're starting to see in some sectors the return to the conditions before the recession, where of course seafarers were in huge demand, costs were rising, not necessarily out of control, but they were rising substantially to levels we haven't seen before. And the issue for the owners is that, of course, whilst a lot of the markets are starting to recover now, we're not in the boom times by any stretch. The costs have gone up, and the revenues for the charter from the charter hire have come down. So the challenge really is back to before the credit crunch, about supply of quality crew at the most reasonable price, and it's a challenge that will be facing the entire industry.
Where do you see that solution coming from?
Well, again, in terms of nationalities, I'm sure we'll be looking at Ukraine, Eastern Europe, probably Philippines, increasingly China, but of course there is the language issue there. India has started to be perhaps a more expensive source of seafarers in some instances, but it still provides excellent value in areas such as offshore.
Do you think there'll be more Western companies looking to Eastern sort of crew to fill their vessels?
Well, I think there will have to be, and again, this is all linked really with the world economy, because Eastern Europe, just like the West, has suffered more than Asia in the credit crunch. So therefore the career opportunities in Eastern Europe on land are not necessarily as good as in India, for instance. And so I think Eastern Europe would tend to be a growth area, because careers at sea will be particularly attractive. They have a good training infrastructure. The English there is not great, but it's okay. It's a good level, and certainly better than places like China. And it's certainly been improving over the last 10 years.
Will this problem be severe enough that it will sort of perhaps cause us to slow down the sort of recovery in shipping?
Potentially you could argue that. I don't personally feel that it will be that bad. I think, as always, it will be a matter of cost, because there are still huge volumes of people coming out of training courses in Manila, Mumbai, these sorts of major seafarer centres, but we're going to have to pay, and we're going to have to make ourselves more attractive as an industry, so that people want to follow a career at sea rather than a career on land.